Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our virtual open night. My name is Alan Jennings, and I'm the head of the Preparatory Department in Methodist College. As I said, this is the third of a series of virtual open evenings that we have presented. The first two sets were separate for Downey and for Fullerton, but this third set is for both Downey and for Fullerton. We're very aware that the application forms for preschool and for P1 were released recently, and the P1s were just on Thursday. And a number of people have been inquiring about applications for Downey and for Fullerton on the strength of maybe not getting their preferred place last Thursday. So this is an opportunity to speak to folks and maybe answer a few questions and follow up with perhaps an interview or a conversation, a Zoom conversation or an interview in the school. We're sitting in the boardroom. I'm sitting in the boardroom of Methodist College. Behind me is one of our first principals, Dr. Crook, on the stained glass window. And it's a sign of being involved very much in terms of Downey, Fullerton and Methodist College. We felt that linking in with the college with this virtual open evening this evening was very much showing that we are part of Methodist College as well as being separate schools, Downey and Fullerton House. The virtual open nights have been very successful. We've had a large number of people attending, and they have been emailed, or I've spoken to them by Zoom or by telephone. But we've also had 40 visits from interested parties to the schools over the last year alone. And if you have any questions, there'll be an opportunity to do that and explain how to do that a little bit later. But also, if you would like to visit the school, then you're welcome to do so as well. And I'd be happy to show you around either Downey or Fullerton House. We also have, I'll just say the opportunity to ask questions. If you would like to record a question on the chat function, please use that. If you send a note or a question through the chat function, then we'll read that out at the end, and I'll be able to hopefully be able to answer. I have a couple of colleagues with me as well who have joined, and they'll be able to assist me with those questions as well. If you feel brave enough, and not everyone always feels brave enough on Zoom, if you'd like to physically put your hand up, put your camera on and put your hand up, then we'll listen to that question as well. So two options there for asking questions during the virtual open evening. What we're going to do is to present this evening the children's voice and the parents' voice. And we're delighted to have a video of a number of our children from Downey and from Fullerton saying a little bit about what they like about the school. They were simply asked the question, what do you like about Downey, or what do you like about Fullerton? So we're going to hear their voice in a moment. And then after that, we're delighted to welcome Mrs. Susan McNeil from Downey, and Mrs. Miss Campbell, Mrs. Linda Miss Campbell from, she's never going to forgive me for that, Linda Miss Campbell from Fullerton House, and they'll be saying a little bit about Fullerton and about Downey a little bit later on. So we're looking forward to hearing from them. So we're going to stop. I'm going to finish now, and we're going to listen to the children's voice from Downey and from Fullerton.
I go to Downey House Preschool and I love to play with my friends. I play in the house preschool and I make cakes for my friends. I like school because I like work, and what I like about work is number work and letter work. I'm Ashton and I like writing with the pens. I'm Liz. I'm in P2. I love doing sums and playing in the shush. I'm Flo and I like Fullerton House because there's nice people and you could do tons of work. Hi, I'm Ryan, and my favourite thing about Fullerton is that the work is easy.
Hi, I'm Lucy, and my favourite thing about Fullerton House is that there are always so many things to do, like art with Mrs. Morrison and so much more.
Hi, I'm Leo. The thing I like about Fullerton House is PE with Mrs. Gray.
My name is Jonathan and I'm P5. What I like about Downey House is that I get to play football. I like it when the teacher explains the work and I really like daily maths. I like it here because I have really good friends.
My name is Naomi and I'm in P5. The thing I love about Downey House is that everyone knows everyone else. It is so friendly and all the teachers are really nice. It is a smaller school and I really like that. We all get along really well with each other. We have lovely grounds to play in.
My name is Lila and I am in P6. Downey House is the best school ever. The teachers are very supportive and the grounds are amazing. Any children who come here will be very lucky. The children are kind and have their own personalities. Some like music, some like sports, and some like all the different subjects we do. At Downey, you learn languages, sports, and many other things. You get all the help you need here. If you can't talk to anybody at home, you can talk to the teachers and they will give you advice. Go Downey!
My name's Emily and I'm in P6. When I moved schools to Downey House, the first thing I really loved was how nice everyone was. I also love the sports. We play hockey, rugby, netball, football and loads more. Outside we have climbing frames, netball courts and a sandpit. I love learning and we also get taught Spanish and French. Every Friday we do Friday art, which I love. I also love the dinners. Every day is something new at Downey House.
Hi, I'm Isabella and I love it here at Fullerton House because the students and teachers make it such a great place to be in. This year we've been learning French and Spanish. I love to learn about the weather in Spanish. Au revoir.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm a pupil here at Fullerton House. All the teachers and students here are very nice. I remember when on my first day I came here in P1, I was so nervous and scared, but when I got into my class and met loads of people, they made me feel happy. Bye.
So a big thank you to the boys and girls of Fullerton and Downey House schools for sharing a little bit about what makes the schools so special to them. I think one of the most positive reflections on those stories is especially from the P6s and the P7s when they reflected back to when they started school and they were quite nervous. Some of them felt a bit nervous, some of them were unsure, but they settled into it and they very much love the schools. It's lovely to hear that. So well done to the boys and girls and thank you for doing that. And again, it was lovely to see the nursery and the P1s and the P2s sharing little bits about what they felt the school was for them and how important it is for them. And I hope you can capture a little bit of the pastoral care and the strong sense of belonging that each child has to their particular school. So now we're moving from the children to their parents, or certainly two parents. So we're delighted to welcome Mrs. Susan McNeil and Mrs. Lynn Campbell this afternoon. And they are going to share a little bit about their impressions of the school and maybe a little bit about their role, because they're very actively involved in the PTA and have been for quite some time. So we're going to hear now, I think we're going to hear from Mrs. McNeil first. And so I'm going to hand over to her now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jennings. Hello, everybody. As Mr. Jennings said, I'm Susan. I am a past pupil of Downey and of Methody, and I now have 3 children at Downey in P6, P4 and P2. And I'm the current chair of the PTA. I've been involved with the PTA for many years since I started at the school, really, in a parental capacity. I'm the current chair. And so I have a long history of connection with the school and with the college. We were living in America. We had 3 children, and one of the driving forces for us moving back was our children's education, along with being closer to family. And really, when we talked about moving back, the things that were important to us were the non-denominational aspect of Downey and Fullerton and Methody, the ethos behind that, the fact that it's a co-ed school, and also the fact that the academics are really unparalleled. They're just tremendous. So we moved back, made the decision to send the children to Downey House. My oldest started in P1, my second started in preschool, and now, as I said, they're all at the school. And so just what Mr. Jennings was saying at the start there, the links with Methody were really important to me. And I think it's great that the preps are connected with the college and with the ethos of the college in terms of, its tagline is opportunity and diversity and excellence, but I think that really rings true, and you see it in practice. And then just sort of from the point of view of having been at the school and experienced the school for 6 years now, the benefits that we see are primarily in the small class sizes. I think that the teachers all really get to know the children so well. And we've come out of so many parent-teacher meetings feeling that they've really nailed our child. They understand them. They know what drives them, what makes them tick, what issues they might have, any worries or concerns they might have. And I think that small class size really contributes enormously to that feeling of understanding and to the children's security. I mean, you often hear the word that the children are feeling very secure. And I think that's really important, because obviously the more secure they are and happier they are, the more able they are to learn and enjoy and thrive and flourish and blossom and all those things that you want your children to be doing at that age, to, creating that foundation of education. And especially at Downey, I think there's a really good community feeling, because it is a small school. The parents tend to know each other quite well. You could have good chats in the playground at pick up and drop off. The children know each other well. They play amongst year groups. My P2 has no hesitation in running off with the P4 or P5 at pick up or drop off. And I think that's just great for their confidence. And it's just very easy to speak to teachers. They're very approachable. You can always get a hold of them if you have any issues or concerns, and the pastoral care I know is excellent. And then just in terms of, we've moved on now, we're in P6 and we're seeing the benefit of how well the children are prepared for the transfer test. They're just the next stage, and you sort of see how confident and articulate they are, and they're engaged and they're bright and they're ready to learn and play and have fun, all those things. It's just, I just think it's great. And, I asked my children last night at the dinner table, what do you like about Downey? And, they all, without question, mentioned the green space. They just said, it's great that we have so much room to run around and play in. And, for me, that was one of the big attractions for Downey in particular, was that sense of green space and freedom and able to run amongst the pitches and also see the Methody kids come and play cricket and hockey and rugby and have all that experience, that crossover. So, I mean, if anybody hasn't been, I would encourage you to come and see it for yourselves, because it is quite amazing when you drive in off the Craig or the Ravenhill Road and all of a sudden you're in this 40 acres of green space. So I think that's really much it. This, from a practical point of view, the car park is amazing and and the location is accessible. And yeah, I just, we've had a very positive experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, come and see it. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks very much, Susan. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Thanks very much.
You're all right.
We very much appreciate your comments and your commitment to the school. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Now I'm going to hand over to Linda for her reflections on Fullerton House School.
Perfect. Hi there. My name is Linda. My husband actually is the connection to Fullerton. So he went to Fullerton and then went on to Methody. So that was part of our, I suppose, decision in terms of why we wanted to send our children to Fullerton House. Lots of reasons, but I suppose one of the big draws for us was the fact that it was a preschool all the way up to P7. So we liked the idea that when they went into preschool, then there was an easy transition onto P1. So my three boys, who are now P7, P5 and P3, all started in the preschool, and they have worked their way up through the school. So like Susan, I can kind of see it from the very beginning at preschool all the way up to where my eldest is now, 8 weeks off leaving P7, much to my shock, and hopefully going on into Methody. We'll find out at the end of May. So again, a lot of what Susan said I would echo in terms of the teachers and the support from the teachers. I have obviously three boys, and they have very different needs in terms of their abilities to learn. Some are more diligent, some would be a little bit maybe lazier, and then one of my children probably finds school quite difficult, but will get actually an awful lot of support, and the fact that they have learning support and a teacher that they would go out to a couple of times a week for an hour, and that's a huge benefit for him. The teachers also know how to motivate them. So, because they know the kids so well, they know what makes them tick, and, they understand, because the classes are small, they have a really good feel of the child. I suppose lots of things, in terms of the benefits of not just their core teachers. So they've a PE teacher, a music teacher, swimming, and as they go up through the school, P6 and P7s go out to Perry for games, which opens up another world of different place to see, and they also engage with the Downey children. So when they're P6 and P7s, they do games with the Downey children. So it's lovely to be able to kind of widen their friendship groups. And the other advantage to that is, hopefully, if they go on into Methody, and some of the children go on to Methody in P7 from Downey, that they have this friendship group that's both Downey and Fullerton children. Language is also big. They've done, as Susan mentioned, French and Spanish. And then the P7s, I understand this year, have started doing some British Sign Language, which I think is fantastic, really. And he actually couldn't believe how quickly he picked it up himself. So that just was another string to his bow in terms of a different language, and and being taught by somebody who is deaf. So it was a great experience for him. So all around, I have incredibly positive thoughts and feelings about the school. My children are so happy going in. Never ever have I had a day where, well, the all day, let's not be too but generally speaking, everybody's very content going into school with lovely friendship groups, and the teachers always, as Susan said, always very approachable, and do really get to know your children very, very well. And if there's any little things they need to talk to you, very happy to catch you at drop off or pick up, and catch up with you on that. So yeah, all around, a very positive experience for us.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much for that. I would just add that there are definitely no lazy Muscamble children in Fullerton House School. I could absolutely testify to that. But what I would say is that all three of the Muscamble children, and I know Susan would say all three of the McNeil children, they all have different learning styles. That's the way we would explain. And you're absolutely right. Children have different learning styles, and they approach their learning in different ways. And our teachers are adapting and learning and working with the children to ensure that they have the most positive learning experience that they can have according to the way in which they learn, and that is different from one child to the next. So absolutely, thanks very much, ladies, for that. Just to conclude, before we have a question and answer session, Susan had made comment about actually moving from the United States, from New York to Belfast, and looking for a school and looking for and settling in, whereas Linda's situation was very much from nursery and the boys being in the environment in the area. And of course, that is true for many people who are here this evening. We have some folks who are born and bred Belfast, or have moved to Belfast, and their children are coming through. But we also have quite a number of people who are maybe relocating for a variety of reasons. They're working in some of the different firms in Belfast, the hospital, the university. We have quite an intake of people working in those institutions as well. And I often use the phrase that there is a pattern. Each family is unique in their circumstances. So Susan's family moved from New York, Linda's family were based in Belfast, and each family was unique, but there was a pattern of moving into the school that we're familiar with, that we've seen again and again, and that's how we learn to adapt and work with the children. And similarly for those who are moving from different parts of the world, if you're moving from Australia, from the United States, different parts of the United States, from San Francisco, from Washington, from New York, we've had children from Portugal, from Lisbon, Paris, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and lots of different cities in around Australia as well. And each of those is a unique situation, and we talk through about families and how they're going to come and how they're going to settle in and visiting the school. But there's a pattern of children coming in that we see, because this is something that happens very, very regularly. So between that unique concept for each family, there's also a pattern that we see within the school and that we follow and that we're familiar with. So it's not new to us, it's not unique to us in the same way that it is. So hopefully that's reassuring for people if they're thinking about relocating or coming to see us and coming to settle in Belfast, then that our teachers are used to new pupils coming in at different times during the school year, and what we call non-P1 years as well.
Sorry. Okay, Mr. Jennings, you made some reference to the links with Methodist College Belfast. And I'm aware of some of those links, but I'm kind of interested to hear your statistics of what kind of percentage of children would normally transfer from the prep schools into the college. Is it a big number, a small number? What's the likely pattern?
Thanks. Thank you, Alan. Yes, it is a large number. It would vary from one year to the next, obviously, depending on the size of the year group and the number of children who want to transfer to the college. But certainly it would be anything around about 85 to 95%. Sometimes it's been 100%. Sometimes it's been around about the 85%. It just depends on the year. But certainly it's very, very high. We do have, as Susan articulated there earlier on, we do have folks who are literally signing into Fullerton preschool or Downey preschool, and they're expecting not to have even 14 years within the college environs, but actually 15 years with the preschool as well, to transfer onto the college then from P7 to first form. So it is very, very high. It does change from year to year, but it would certainly be around that, and 85% would probably be one of the lower ones, but certainly around about 90-95%.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Jennings, there's a question's come up in the chat. What are the differences between Fullerton House and Downey House?
Okay, yes, that's a question that we do get asked quite regularly. And I suppose there's a couple of answers to that. The first answer is a little bit of a politician's answer. And as we're in the middle of an election here in Northern Ireland, please forgive me for that terminology. When I started the school and we discussed this, we came up with the phrase equality of opportunity. So that a child starting preschool in Downey and a child starting preschool in Fullerton should have the same equality of opportunity going right through the school and into P7. So again, in reference to Alan's question, that they also have the same opportunities to go on to the college. Now, clearly within each institution, there are differences in terms of the environment. So Susan has reflected on the green fields and the playing fields and so on. And whilst there aren't the same playing fields here in the college and where Fullerton is based, there are certainly grounds within the school that the children can use for nature walks and so on. They're very convenient here to Botanic Gardens, and I know even from very young age, from preschool, Miss Boyd would take the children with plenty of adult support across the Malone Road and Shamrock Road to Botanic Gardens, and that's worked very, very well. Obviously, the Downey children have access to the playing fields pretty much from 8:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's some, obviously, the senior games between 2 and 3. They have to be careful what fields they use at that time or what playing fields. Fullerton, then the P6s and P7s, they're bussed over for their games period with their Downey colleagues on a Friday morning, and they're able to participate in that. Now, where Fullerton have the advantage then is that the swimming pool is based here in the college. So our Downey children then are bussed for their swimming sessions from P3. Both schools start their swimming in P3, and Downey are bussed over, and Fullerton, it's a short walk to them. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts, I suppose, in terms of the facilities. But I think the key aspect is the equality of opportunity. The answer sometimes that parents would very often give is of convenience. And I know sometimes people don't like using that, but if you've got a very, very high quality educational provision, and then the next aspect is convenience, then people will say that, well, yes, Downey is more convenient to where I live. For example, if you're living in BT 4, 5, 6, 7, Downey is very, very convenient to you in that part of South and East Belfast. Fullerton is BT 9. Half of our children in BT 8 go to Downey and half go to Fullerton, interestingly. And then what I call the A1 M1 corridor along the Lisburn Road, up to Finnegy, Dunmurry, and right up to Lisburn, and even as far as Banbridge, we've had children coming from there too. But in terms of Downey, then it has a wider geographical spread. We've had children from Ballygowan, as well as carried off BT 8, as I said, Ballygowan, right through to Cumber, Newton Ards, Bangor, Donegal even, and the North Down area too. It just depends on convenience for parents. Obviously, the as I said earlier on, in terms of relocation, the university and the hospitals, the City Hospital, the Royal Victoria Hospital, Musgrave Park, and even the Mater Hospital are reasonably convenient in terms of Westlink for access to Fullerton. So that's probably slightly longer answer than I maybe intended to give, but I hope that's of some help in explaining the sort of the background between the two schools. Are there any more questions on the chat one? No, okay, and no hands up. Okay. Right, we'll leave it there. Again, if I very often find, and very often would say to parents that usually when they're driving away, they say, oh, I should have asked this or should have asked that. I said, don't worry about that. Send an email to the Downey at Methody or Fullerton at methody.org, and we'll do our best to answer it and get back to you as soon as we can. Okay. Right, now we'll leave it there. Many thanks, everybody, and have a very good evening. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.